Boomer Sooner, live at Moody's Country Store and Barbecue. Welcome to the OU Huddle on the Sooner Sports Network from Learfield. Presented by Air Comfort Solutions, your total home solution for plumbing, heating, air conditioning, and electrical. Make the winning call today. Also brought to you by Riverwind Casino. Good times, great rewards. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. And by Moody's Country Store and Barbecue, bringing you the best in real Texas barbecue. Now, here's the voice of the Sooners, Toby Rowland.
Oh, let's go. Welcome to Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue. You're inside the Huddle. Toby is on the road with OU basketball as they get set for another Tuesday night showdown this week against Auburn. So we kick off the Huddle with KJ Kindler and the #1 ranked OU women's gymnastics team. Welcome, Coach.
Thank you.
How about that on Friday night, huh?
Yeah.
Not too shabby at all.
Yeah, it was good.
And join us in welcoming Kira Wells for the first time. This is the first time you've been here at Rudy's?
Yes.
Pretty accomplished, man.
Yeah.
Welcome. Thanks for coming on with us tonight. Our opening segment, as always, is presented by Community Coffee, family-owned Community Coffee, the official brewed coffee of OU Athletics. Taste the difference family makes. All right, KJ, we had a chance to preview the Arkansas meet last week. That was a team that beat LSU.
Yes.
And you came in and outstanding. Now, I'm allowed to complain about the scoring. What are we doing, people? What are we doing? But with that in mind, right on the cusp of a 198, you had to feel pretty good about the way this team performed.
Yeah, I felt really great about it, actually. We had started with Missouri at home, and that was a little cooler of a performance from us, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
And so this one we were a little more dialed in, and I also felt the crowd was really electric at this one. That was super helpful. It was just a great atmosphere to be in.
I would like to credit myself as being there and being louder. So thanks to Section 110, we crushed it. But, Kira, we're watching highlights from the event. Y'all started on the vault, and there was just a great energy. You can see Danae, Fletcher, and Danny are leading the cheers right behind after you stick the vault. I don't know how else to put it, but there was when your teammate sticks the vault, there had to be a different energy there. How did it feel for you on Friday night?
It was just so amazing just having those amazing people just set the tone and the energy, and everyone can just build off of that.
The bars were incredible, Coach. The way that this team performed on the bars on Friday night.
Easily our very best event that night. Landings were spot on. Starting here with Lily, you can just see she nails that. And when she does that, it's inspiring to the rest of the lineup, and certainly, dominoes fall, so everyone was sticking after her. But bars is definitely our strongest event. I think as the season has progressed, we've recognized that. Ranked #1 still on that event by a healthy amount. So I just think the precision, the consistency on that event has been remarkable.
We'll continue to watch the highlights, and we'll get around to some Kira Wells highlights. But I wanted to talk about you as a person for a moment. It was Cowboys for a cause, cowboy hats for a cause, and you decided to go with a purple hat for pancreatic cancer. Why?
Yeah, so my grandma had pancreatic cancer and was struggling for a long time, and I just wanted to do it for her tonight.
How cool is that to be a part of a program where you're able to, in a lot of ways, pay tribute to those who brought you there, but give back and show support? That has to feel really good to reach out in the community like that.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity.
For you, you come in incredibly highly regarded last year, and you showed out as a freshman, second-team All-American. You participated in all 16 meets. You want to go back historically, a junior Olympic champion in 1921 and 22, or at least according to your Instagram page. Can you take us through what the jump was like for you last year and going from where you were competing pre-college to where you are now, and what that jump was like for you?
It was definitely a big jump because I come from a really small gym, and I didn't really have very many people on our team. And it's just so amazing to have people to have my back and have more of my skill level. And I definitely feel like I'm getting pushed more here by the coaches and the girls.
Augusta, Kansas, Coach.
Yeah.
I would, as she said, smaller gym. Not many student athletes, I figure, that were pulling out of Augusta, Kansas. How'd you find Kira?
No, Kira. Well, she's a 3-time national vault champion. That she found us, I think. So when you're a national champion on vault, you're definitely on our recruiting list. And 3 years, that's really unheard of, actually. So, and obviously she's doing the job here as well. But she's our most improved athlete this year. There's no doubt about it. I know we don't see her on the bars and we don't see her on floor yet, but she's working to get into those lineups and has improved more than anybody else on our team in the off season on those 2 events. So she's still pushing herself every day to get there on those events. Balance beam is also an area I think she's improved a lot on. Mostly, I'm going to say her confidence, her mental strength on this event. Last year, she competed 8 times for us. But, you know, we're going for the whole season this year, right?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
When you hear your coach say that, that's got to feel pretty incredible.
Oh, yes.
So what was the key to that for you? What really helped you gain that confidence from year 1 to year 2 and improve to the degree where your coach is saying you're the most improved athlete?
Definitely just finally believing in myself. Like, my coaches believe in me, my teammates believe in me, and now it's time for me to step up and believe in myself.
I heard Jay Valai, he's the cornerbacks coach for OU football. He said at some point these guys are going to start believing in themselves as much as we believe in them. So when you know your coach believes in you, what was that moment where you're like, I believe in me, I can do this? Was there a moment where it clicked? Or is it still a fight?
I still think it's coming. It's definitely gotten way better, but
For you, KJ, it's got to be an incredible feeling of development, right? Whenever you see what she's become here in her second season.
She was right when she said she needs to be pushed. Like, Kira just needs to be pushed off the cliff a little bit. If you give her a little shove, she responds really well, but she's a little hesitant. So taking risks, that's where she needs to get better, and she has gotten so much better, and that's why I'm saying she's the most improved. Like, she's really pushed herself. Gymnastics is it's a crazy sport. You have to be really strong mentally, and so when we have those little talks in the gym and I kind of push her up against the wall, she responds really well to that, and that's actually helped her grow, I think.
You agree?
yes.
You agree? Need a little push every now and then?
Yeah, I do.
There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, it's different strokes for different folks. Sometimes people, it's just, I'm going to be there, and if you push me too much, it's not going to work well. But for you, you're like, hey, has it always been that way? You feel like there was always, take me through your family and your coaches and just kind of that development. Has it always been something where you every so often need a little bit of an extra oomph?
Yes, most definitely. But like, my family was always there for me, but my coaches and club, they didn't really push me enough, and I knew that these national best coaches could. Yeah,
I'm just so in awe. What are you making? What are you laughing about? You're a star. Look at this. You're on the stage. Everyone's watching you on Friday night do your thing. You got to enjoy this right now. This is big time, right?
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
We're still waiting. When Kira sticks her vault, it's a 10. So we're still waiting for that. It's going to happen.
Can you take me through the vault warm-up? Because I never noticed this before. But in watching on Friday night, and this was one of my questions for for tomorrow on a radio show with you, Coach, but there's like no concern over landing in some of the vaults. It's just a lot of the girls, and I don't know if you're the same way, when they're doing their practice vaults, it's, what is it, timing? Is it feel? What are you trying to get out of that warm-up vault, that practice vault, when you're using it?
Mostly just trying to get close to what we know how to do, and also get used to the equipment.
So
the equipment?
Yeah, Chris, what you have brought up is something that is, chapping Lou. He wants them to be close to sticking their vault and warm up. So what you're pointing out is that they aren't quite yet close enough. And that's okay. That's okay. Am I right?
Yeah, you're right.
He wants them to get close. He wants them to be thinking about that landing. But it has to be a good vault, too. A big vault, a far vault. That's something that he definitely emphasizes. And so they're trying to do that, too. And they almost fight each other because one requires control and the other one is out of control. So it's a tough event to stick the landing, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's fun to watch as a fan. Kira, thank you so much for your time. Before we let you get out of here, you mentioned a little bit about your family. Can you just kind of take us through that moment where, for you realized, oh my gosh, I got a chance to compete at the highest level of college gymnastics? When was that moment that it clicked for you?
Definitely junior year, whenever I was starting to get recruited. All my family was behind me, and they just knew I could do what I wanted as all my goals, and I could reach them.
You're fun to watch. Thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you
with
so
us,
much
man.
for having me.
That's Kira Wells. She's outstanding and was fantastic on Friday night. Elle Miller coming up next as we continue our talk about women's gymnastics inside the Huddle, live from Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue.
The Huddle is brought to you by Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue, bringing you the best in real Texas barbecue. Walden Cleaners and Laundry, where the difference is quality. Riverwind Casino, good times, great rewards. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. The Trails Golf Club of Norman, where you'll experience everything you love about golf and more.
All right, welcome back inside the Huddle, live from Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue. This second segment is presented by Riverwind Casino. Good time, great rewards. Along with KJ Kindler, I'm Chris Plank. Please join us in welcoming Elle Miller to the stage. One of, what do we have, 6 freshmen this year, Elle? Is that right?
Yep.
Have you ever had 6 freshmen before?
Yes.
Okay.
But it is a big group.
Yeah, and all incredibly talented.
Very.
What's this season been like for you so far? How are you feeling about it?
Pretty good, pretty confident. Definitely some things to improve upon, but super excited to just get out there and get my feet wet.
Let's talk about the adjustment period to college life. You go from, and this is one of the great things I've learned from KJ, is whenever you're competing with your gym and you're competing, the circuit during the summer and in pre-college, there's a month here, a month, 1 or 2, and now it's every weekend. So what has that adjustment been like for you physically and mentally?
It's definitely been very different, but they have it down to a pretty good science, and I feel much better overall, I would say, this year than I did last year, and I'm much more confident, but it's definitely been an adjustment for sure.
Tell me about Elle. How'd you find her?
Well, I mean, she comes from Twin City Twisters, where Olivia the Great O. Troutman and Maggie Nichols,
Yes.
Bree Olson, also our very first TCT gymnast to come to Oklahoma. So she has a trail. She's following breadcrumbs, I believe, from Minnesota to Oklahoma.
Awesome.
And I think it helps. They go home and they talk about their experience, and certainly they talk to Elle about how they felt about Oklahoma. I was in her gym a lot. I spent time there. But, I mean, I was watching her at a very young age. She was maybe 11 when I started watching her. I mean, very young.
Yeah, I was young.
Yeah.
When was your first, I guess, knowledge or first heard about Oklahoma? You remember?
Oh, gosh. I think 2016 when Maggie went there.
Boy, there's no way it was 2016 when Maggie was a freshman, right?
Yeah.
It was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were watching. They did the tribute, or I don't know if it's a tribute or they have the props to Olivia, the video that runs, and it's been what, 2-3 years since Olivia last competed, and your mind just is blown by how quickly time flies. I'm sure for you that you don't feel like time flies consistently, but take me through kind of your idea of what that adjustment has been like in seeing those before you and then following in that path. I mean, those are big shoes to fill. What's that been like?
Yeah, I think it's just been, again, like a big adjustment, and, just they have huge expectations, but I also do for myself, and so just following in their footsteps has been a great honor. Yeah.
Country for a Cause. Now, we talked about Kira wearing the purple hat for pancreatic cancer. You wore the blue hat for autism awareness.
Yes.
What kind of struck a chord for you on that?
Yeah, so I have a cousin who has autism, and he's just been a very big part of my life. Like, I have a very deep connection with him.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's cool. And KJ, we brought it up with Kira, but it's an opportunity to really showcase the personalities and show they're more than just student athletes, right? They have family members, and these types of causes mean a lot to them.
Absolutely, and we do a lot of things as much as we can with the community. We also had special spectators in the audience on Friday night, and they spent some special time with those young kids that are fighting cancer. I mean, that is a very difficult thing to see, and we want to be there for them. And also we have a team impact player, Josie, and she's been with us all year, and she comes to practice, she comes to meets, so it's very important. I always tell them, and we talked about it in the circle today, you can have such an impact on the community, on young people everywhere who look up to you, and taking that extra minute or extra day or extra hour to really reach out makes a huge difference to a lot of people.
Speaking of making a huge difference, we touched on it. Great energy on Friday night inside the Lloyd Noble Center. Now, we're back home Friday night. Kentucky's coming to town. Where's Caitlin Fournier? We need a rabid, crazy crowd on Friday night like we had this last weekend. So if you want to go, we got tickets for you to join us Friday night in the Lloyd Noble Center. It's going to be awesome. So don't leave here tonight without getting your tickets to join us on Friday night for Kentucky. Did you feel it? Did it seem like a more juiced atmosphere on Friday for you?
I think there was more energy and just better vibes in the atmosphere.
You sense that too, Coach, on Friday night?
Yes, absolutely. Like, the energy of the crowd was great, and I thought, Devin is kind of leading the crowd, and I think that they gave him a great script this week, and it was very impactful.
Devin looks, is that our MC?
Yes.
He looks the part, man. He's got the cowboy hat, and he's just walking around like he owns the place. I love it. And, of course, I'm on T-shirt watch, so I've got to catch a T-shirt. You're always kind of looking around. And we brought it up earlier. The football team was there. That's always a cool thing. And, Coach, we need to talk more about that area that's right behind the scorer's table where they have the tables, and I know One Oklahoma was out there. That's a really cool place to enjoy a meet.
Yeah, it's a premier seating area that we just added this year. You get to be down there with where the action is happening. You can see their facial expressions, the beads of sweat on their foreheads. I mean, you are literally up close and in person, and it's a really cool seat to have, I think. I mean, not very many people get to be that close.
Yeah, so it's Kentucky coming up. That's a really good squad, isn't it?
It's a great squad. They're ranked 8th in the country, but they've been ranked as high as 6th. Really good all around, actually. They're good on every single event. Vault is one of their specialties, so definitely have to keep up with them there, but they're a great team.
Elle, before we let you get out of here, I want to talk a little bit about your family. You got a younger brother. Take me through the support of your family and what it's meant to you to get to this point.
They've just always been there for me and never put any extra pressure on me, which I really appreciate. And they've all just been one step behind me and always there for me no matter what.
Great stuff. Elle, thank you so much. You crushed it. It's good to have you up here.
Thank you.
KJ, you got a documentary crew following you around here, don't you? How fun has that been?
Just means I'm old, I think.
We'll see you tomorrow on the radio,
all right,
Coach.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks to KJ Kindler. Thanks to Elle Miller. We'll take a break and come back. Mark Williams will join us on the dais at Inside the Huddle.
Log on to Soonersports.com/kids for information about joining the Sooner Kids Club presented by OG&E and brought to you in part by Orthodontics exclusively, Mathis Home, and Devon Energy. The best place to gear up for game day is shop.soonersports.com.
I promise. Welcome inside the huddle. As always, we are live from Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue. This segment is brought to you by Taco Mayo. Big appetite, bigger savings. Download and save today. Please welcome in his 26th season, the head coach of the #1 ranked men's gymnastics team, Mark Williams, ladies and gentlemen. And to his left, my right, is fifth-year captain. Not too long. Wait, was the birthday? It's been a minute, right?
Like last month.
Last month. You're not
2 months ago, December. Yeah.
Zach Nunez, ladies and gentlemen. Zach, welcome, man. How are you? How's
good. How are you?
Going? How you feeling?
Good. Good.
Good.
Thank you.
Good.
Thank you.
Mark, congratulations on going to Columbus. It's a really good Ohio State team, and in a tough environment, you guys took care of business. How'd you feel about that?
Yeah, I felt pretty good. We came out a little flat. I mean, the crowd wasn't great, but we had to make the energy ourselves, and floor was a little bit of a struggle. We had a couple of mistakes, but got through okay. And horse was great, rings was great. We just were rolling along. P-bars was a little bit of a struggle again, and then we got the high bar and just really kicked it into high gear and separated. So it was a fun meet.
Unique too. I mean, a Monday meet, or excuse me, Sunday. I say unique. We've had several Sundays, but for you, what's a Sunday difference from a Saturday or a Friday? What's the recovery like?
So today we had an off day, so it was basically the same.
Yeah.
Nothing different.
Just shuffles things around a little bit days-wise. Tell me, I mean, this is a fifth-year guy here in Zach. Mark, kind of tell me a little bit about how you find him, how you got him here, and kind of what you've seen from him growth-wise.
Yeah, he came to us from Cyprus in Texas, and as a freshman sophomore, he did all 6 events and really excelled on pommel horse. So he's All-American there. He did the all-around for a couple of years. Then he had to have a shoulder surgery, and that kind of slowed him down a little bit. And currently he's trying to find his way back after a second shoulder surgery. Ooh. And mostly specializing on pommel horse right now, but he continues to do floor and vault, trying to do some P-bars.
I don't think anyone really realizes the physical demands that you go through. I mean, shoulder injuries, back, feet, ankles. Zach, can you just take us through the process of getting your body where you want it and where it needs to be?
Sometimes I forget, like, it can be demanding. I guess I've gotten not used to it, but I've conditioned myself to, I don't know, not think of it too much.
Yeah, block it out a little bit, right?
Yeah.
You wrote an article for Soonersports.com. I read it. It was really good. All right. You stay out of the journalism and broadcasting world. I can't lose my job, okay? But you talked about a turning point for you. When was that turning point? Tell us a little bit more about it.
So if I remember correctly, I think I thought my turning point was my senior year of high school when I started getting noticed by the other colleges.
Yep.
And I was getting opportunities that I usually didn't get growing up. I would see like alumni Dan, Jack go to championships, and I would just be left behind and watching them do that stuff. So when it came around my senior year and I got those opportunities, I was like, wow, okay, like this, I can do this.
For you, have you been a self-motivator? You know, we were talking earlier, who had Kira Wells was up here, and KJ was saying, you need a little push every now and then. Zach, you need a push, or have you always been a self-motivator?
I think I've been a self-motivator. At least here at OU, I've been a self-motivator.
What's the process, Mark, been like in, watching him battle through injuries and when you want to matriculate him back into the lineup and when you want to give him a little bit of a rest? What's that challenge like in that balance?
Yeah, it's definitely challenging when it's a shoulder surgery because most of the equipment is, you're holding on with your arms. So during the recovery time, you're finding things to do on the floor, the trampoline, jump over the vault. It seems like it takes forever, and then you have to come back and get the strength back and start to get the timing on the skills and everything. But for Pommel Horse, he's always been a big swinger and looked very good, and he comes back very quickly there. So that's been a mainstay for us to know that he's going to be one of our best guys. He had at least a season high, I think, this weekend, right?
Yeah.
On a horse. So still hopeful that maybe he does a couple more events before he's done, but he's been doing an excellent job as a leader of the team and one of our co-captains.
What's your process then in deciding when you're physically and mentally ready to add another event? What's that like for you?
I just tell myself if I've done it before, I can do it again. It can't be that hard. It's like riding a bike.
It's more of a sales job between you and the mirror, right?
Yeah,
Than
yeah.
anything else. Visualizing success was another thing that really stood out whenever I was reading up on you, Zach. So is that in everything that you do? And how important has it been for you whenever it comes to your success in men's gymnastics?
Yeah. I usually tell guys, like, if you have that mindset of I can't do this, like, you're already setting yourself up for failure. Like, you have to truly believe that you can do it and know. Yeah.
You got to know.
Yeah.
Leadership is so key on this team. Mark, take us through the leaders that you have and kind of how Zach is a fifth-year leader / co-captain, how he's really grown into that role.
Yeah, typically Zach has been relatively quiet. When he came in his freshman year, he kind of took coaching and went to work and didn't interact, wasn't real loud, everything like that. And this year especially, I've asked he and Emery to step up. Like, they've got to be the leaders of the team. They have to be the ones that set the pace in practice, and sometimes they have to get on other guys if they're not keeping up. So I've kind of asked them to take on that role, and really in the last 3 weeks it's been working out very well.
You seem like you're more of a quiet guy, maybe a little bit laid back. What was that process then like for you to find your voice and become, or is there a switch that flips whenever you're out there and you're with your team, it's a little bit of a different guy?
It's been difficult. I still feel like I can improve on some points, but I honestly think it's also Emery. Emery's very passionate, so I do kudos to him as well. He's done a great job.
Good to have that balance, right?
Yeah.
Maybe one guy a little bit quieter and one guy that's a little bit louder and out there more.
Yeah.
That's cool. Take me through how you feeling about this team right now, Mark. I mean, it really seems like you guys are starting to find a groove. I know that, there was frustrations with the loss, but you guys have elevated to number 1 in the country and a chance to avenge that this weekend.
Yeah, our meet with Illinois a couple weeks ago at home, we put up the highest score of anybody. 330.7 might be a number to hit for national championship. I
Wow.
mean, it's good. We didn't really have many mistakes at all, and good energy in the building. 1,500 people showed up at McCaslin, and it was great. So this past weekend was a little harder, challenging. We left on a Saturday, came back on a Sunday, quick going in and out. A couple of guys were feeling a little bit of that flu that's going around. So it was sort of that, survive and advance kind of mentality. And they did a good job under those circumstances. My biggest concern, which I've been kind of telling he and Emery, is that our parallel bar team has got to be better because we didn't fall, and we got beat by a team that fell twice this past weekend on that event. And, we can't run with Stanford if that happens. So we're going to look for some solutions this week, maybe get Zach back on P-bars.
Yeah, I did first half today.
Oh, I like this. Just get him on TV and say, Zach, you're going to be back on parallel bars this weekend. This is always an interesting thing because increasing the difficulty or maybe adding something, is that something that you'll decide? Is that something, Mark, that you'll decide for guys when it's like, all righty, let's increase the difficulty of this? What's that process been like for you?
I think it's both. You have to prove to Mark that you can do it, and if you can't, you should take it out.
How about for you when you see it?
Well, he's had a peach half for about 3 years.
I had to relearn it every year.
Well, and not just for Zach, but in general for just any of your guys.
Yeah, I mean, we want to have them do the hardest gymnastics they can actually do with control and be consistent doing. We don't want to take things out. That's not the point. We have to be able to have a high start value to get high scores.
Mm-hmm.
But, if you aren't doing what is in your routine consistently, we're going to talk about, hey, if you want to make the lineup, you're going to have to be better at getting through the routine, scoring a little bit higher, maybe maximize your execution score instead of just the difficulty. And it's really a lot of competition just in practice. We almost weekly have team events where if you don't look good compared to some of the other guys on the event, you may not go that weekend.
How fun is it to have that kind of competition?
It's kind of it can be fun and frustrating sometimes, especially for some of the guys. But I think it's good for us. Good pressure.
Now we're going to have Brandon Zepeda-Orth that's going to join us on the stage. We're going to talk quite a bit about the meet that's coming up this weekend. Stanford's coming to town, along with who? Greenville is coming with them on Saturday night at 6 o'clock. So we need a big crowd there. But before we do that, two more things for you. Number one, tell me about your family. Tell me about the influence they've had on you and what they've meant to you.
They've been like my best friends growing up. I would always hang out with them at home, and it's cool to see them look up to me. And they came the last home meet, and it was I kind of needed that.
How far is Cyprus? What's that?
Only 6 hours.
That's it?
Yeah.
Not too
You had
bad.
about 20 people there.
Did you really?
14.
That's it.
Yeah.
How awesome, though, is that?
Yeah.
You've been battling shoulder injuries, right? And then you look out and you see that many people.
Yeah.
It's got to feel great, man.
It does, yeah.
That's awesome. And then finally, you've mentioned how one of your goals is to compete for the Philippines national team. Still something you're focusing on, and what's that process like?
It's difficult. A lot of political things involved, but
Right.
I'm still pushing towards it.
Man, I'm excited for you, dude.
Thank you.
Great job. Mark, before we grab our break, I was really impressed with the women's gymnastics intro video. I don't know if you've seen it, the gold, but I heard that in the men's gymnastics video, you're on a Harley? You're riding a Harley on it?
Yeah, it's my Harley.
Really?
Uh-huh.
So Mark Williams, outstanding gymnast, great coach, good golfer, can make a free throw, and now Harley rider?
I've been riding since '81, and my mom was like, "We're not paying for any of that. I'm going to disown you if you get a motorcycle." I got it anyway.
That's awesome.
So, I was riding Yamaha for most of my life, and I think after 2018, I was like, I'm going to get one more motorcycle. I'm going to get the Harley because I can actually put my feet flat with the Harley.
Well, what finally got us smart enough to implement it in the intro video? We should have been doing this forever.
Well, we were throwing around ideas, and I said, well, doing it in the gym, we've done that. So what if we go somewhere else? Like last year, we did something at one of the research facilities at Stevenson's with computers. So we came up with the idea of going out to Max Westheimer and, using the planes. And they actually had a couple of Chinook helicopters that landed while we were doing the shoot. so then they're like, okay, we got to do the Top Gun, So, I guess I'm Tom Cruise.
That's right. I was thinking the same thing. Like, they're Tom Cruise right here. Zach, thanks, buddy. Best of luck this weekend, and I'm glad you're getting healthy, man. It's fun to watch you. We'll take a timeout. We're going to learn about one of the youngsters on this men's gymnastics team. Brandon Zepeda-Orth is next as you're inside the huddle live from Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue.
The Huddle is brought to you by Taco Mayo. Big appetite, bigger savings. Download and save today. Air Comfort Solutions, your total home solution for plumbing, heating, air conditioning, and electrical. Make the winning call today.
All right, welcome back inside the huddle from Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue, brought to you in part by Air Comfort Solutions, your total home solution for plumbing, heating, air conditioning, and electrical. Make the winning call today. One more segment with Mark Williams, and we welcome in Brandon Zepeda-Orth, redshirt freshman, won the event title against Air Force, right? And had an outstanding performance against Ohio State. Welcome, man.
Hey, it's nice to be here.
Redshirt freshman. Coach, tell me a little bit about Brandon's path to be sitting up here with us.
Well, Brandon came from the same gym that Yul Muldar came from in Colorado.
High expectations.
So, he came in hoping to work for a spot just as a walk-on. His first 3-4 months, he was battling to try to get a spot, and we got to December, and he didn't make the roster. So he was able to train, stay a student, keep working, came back in the summer, started to look like he was getting there. And, I don't really try to make decisions until we get closer to the end. And to be honest, I was like, Brandon's not going to make it. He's only got one event that helps us. But he made it so that I could not ignore what he was doing.
That's awesome.
He was one of our best guys on high bar multiple times. And this past weekend, he proved it. Like, he was great.
Take me through that process, man. There had to be frustration last year. How did you fight through it? What was the key?
I mean, it was definitely a little challenging going from being on the team with all those guys. They're super close to me, and then when I got cut, it was hard, and it took me a while. I just had to step back for a second, and just I don't know, it just took some time for me. And then when I came back here, I just was working hard, and then when we got to Ohio, and ever since we started competing, it's just been a blast.
What was your biggest key? I hate to dwell on a bad moment.
Yeah.
But what was the biggest key to get you out of the frustration and say, I can do this?
Actually, it was probably seeing my teammates come back every weekend from a competition, and they would motivate me. They're telling me all these cool stories. I was like, I want to be there. I want to be doing that with them, side by side. So
when you had that opportunity, Coach was telling us about it just before we hit the air.
Yeah.
You really helped change the momentum against Ohio State on Sunday. Could you feel that? Did you sense in that moment, hey, I got to do something here? What was that like for you?
I knew that me and the other high bar guys, we just had to step it up. Our P bars was a little rocky, and I went up there on high bar, and I was just I want to give it my all. I'm not going to hold back on anything. So I went up there and I did my job.
When you see a response and a performance like that, Coach, it's got to make you feel pretty good.
Yeah, I was really excited for him. That was the most excited I think I was for the whole day, because he did kind of an in-bar skill right to a handstand and then connected the next release, and he did it so well, the judges were like, no, he didn't connect that. we had to actually inquire about look at the video, and normally he'll do that if it's there, and usually he's been making
Dude, that's awesome.
He makes a decision while he's doing that skill. If it's good, he goes ahead and puts it together. If it's not, he takes an extra giant.
So you mentioned having your teammates, being around them, the frustration of seeing them come back from these meets and, not being able to. They've got to be amongst your biggest fans when they see you have moments like you had against Air Force and like you had against Columbus, right?
Oh, totally. They're always supporting me. They're giving me the confidence that I need. I have confidence in myself, but they help push me up even more. So when I know I'm gonna go up there and show my routine, I'm doing it for them as well.
I get the sense a lot of you guys are gym rats. Would you say that you're the same way? You like to be in the gym and work, or do you like to have your time when you get away from it?
No, I mean, I feel like I spend most of my time in the gym, and I'm fine with that. I feel like I'm pretty dedicated to the sport, and that's what I love. So I'm glad that I spend most of my time there.
Coach, how key is that for development?
Well, it's awesome because he wants to be there and does the work, you know. And that was the other thing that maybe I didn't pick up on his first semester was that he was going to find a way. You know, he hadn't proved that to me, and he's doing P-bars a little bit. He's doing some floor, so he knows that when we have a team size of 12, that there's only so many limited spots, and he's only doing one for the team right now. But to be able to stay in the lineup and have more opportunities, he's trying to do 2 more events.
Take me through your path, man. Obviously, we've heard the story once you got to Oklahoma and the frustration over the cut, but then coming back and being such an integral part of the squad right now. How'd you get into gymnastics? Tell me a little bit about how you ended up here.
Actually, if we're talking about like how I got into gymnastics,
Let's go all the way back.
All the way back. The only reason I did it was because my mom wanted me to do it because of snowboarding.
Okay.
Yeah. She was like, we want you to learn how to do a couple flips, tricks, and then you'll do that for a couple years and just do snowboarding. But
really,
it didn't turn out that way. Yeah. Stuck to gymnastics instead.
But so do you still snowboard today?
I used to, yeah. Not today, just because I like to play it safe and rest the body. But I did for a while, a really long time, and it was a lot of fun.
You can blink once if you're saying this because your coach is right there. But no, so
have you seen any ski slopes around here?
Yeah, that's a good point. You'd have to get in the car and drive 10 hours to probably be able to do that. Good point, Coach. But I would also add to it, isn't it wild how sometimes something else can lead you to what's your ultimate gift? So that'd be pretty cool.
No, yeah, it's
when
awesome.
did you discover that gymnastics was your thing?
Actually, I'm not gonna lie, it took me a while, and it probably wasn't even until I got here that I was like, this is my thing. And Mark gave me the opportunity very last minute. I was a senior, second semester being a senior, and I was at this camp in Texas, and I just remember I was like, all right, this is the last opportunity I have. And he was like, you know what, I'll offer you a walk-on spot, and I took it right away, no hesitation. So.
What's that process like? What are you looking for when you're at these events, Mark?
Yeah, we were at some clinic that a lot of junior seniors were there to do stuff, and I'm over there just kind of checking it out. And obviously it helped that he was from Ewell's gym. You know, those are good coaches up there. I know they train them right. They're going to have the conditioning. And I saw something, with what he was doing on high bar. The spark he gave us against Ohio State was real, and it calmed everybody else down. And then we had our best high bar rotation we've had all year. So we just need that every time going out now.
That's nice. Are you a guy that whenever you're not in the gym, you like to get away? Are you a book reader, Netflix? How does Brandon chill?
How do I chill? I'm a big fan of movies, and I'm also a big fan of cooking. I have I like to cook. Me and my roommate Arthur.
Okay.
Yeah, he's the other.
What are we cooking?
Let's see. I think 3 weeks ago we made this butternut squash gourmet meal with chicken. It was good. Yeah.
That's right up Draker's alley, right there. Healthy, right? Takes care of everything.
Yeah.
Is there a goal here? I mean, is there a level? Are you going to be like Gordon Ramsay?
No,
or is it just for fun?
It's just for my own pleasure.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, that's good. And school-wise, that balance for you, what's that been like between the constant need and want to be the best you can in the gym, but then it's not easy being a college student? What's that balance been like?
I mean, it's definitely hard at times, but it's just any time that I have, I use that for my homework or just studying and just try to balance it the best I can. But yeah.
Mark, you guys give them resources. It's important to you. You want all conference academic performers. I mean, this is a big deal too.
One of our highest GPAs ever this past semester, 3.3 something. So yeah, he talks about movies. So yesterday I was like, hey, it's Groundhog's Day, and they go, Proximity Phil, he saw his shadow. And I'm like, did you guys not see the movie? None of them.
None of them?
None of them. Not even my coaching staff knew what I was talking about. I'm
my gosh.
Dude, this is go through the grind every day.
Tosh.
Yeah, Tosh was the only one.
Well, Tosh would know. I had an equal. Have you ever seen the movie Animal House?
No.
See, I made Reagan Beers works with ceramics, and I made a Fawn Leibowitz joke, and everyone looked at me like I was a crazy person. People in here, they know what we're talking about. Best movie you've seen recently?
Oh, you can't put me on the spot.
Okay, then.
It would take me some time because I'm a big movie guy. So.
One of your favorites, then. Just what's a go-to for you?
Go-to favorite? Wow.
You got a little chill time.
Yeah,
we got a little time. We got 2 minutes left in the segment. It's no big deal. People like looking at you on TV.
Yeah. I feel like kind of recently I watched this movie called The Green Book. That was good. Trying to think what else. I like, all the old movies like Seven with Brad Pitt. That's a good one.
Old movies.
Old, right?
I mean, hey,
Old movie, but no, we're laughing because everything for me is a couple years ago, and it'll be like 20 years ago. So I hear you. Guys, before we let you get out of here, Mark, first of all, congratulations, man. Getting this team at #1 right now. What you did in Columbus was amazing, and then to see the way you performed last week against Illinois is something else. But we need a rocking environment on Saturday because Stanford's coming back, and this team is really performing well. Take us through the key of a great crowd Saturday night.
Well, it's going to be Cleveland Elementary night.
Oh, it'll be loud.
They bring their whole school over and help us run the meet, so that'll be exciting. We've also got a men and women alumni reunion over the weekend. The women are going Friday. We're going on Saturday, so we expect 100 people back.
That's huge. And they're going to get a chance to see the new gym, right?
Some tour the new facility, so it should be really exciting that way. And we had a great crowd against Illinois, 1,500 people. Last year we had over 2,000 for our Cleveland meet, so we're hoping that will help us. And, Stanford knows that we're pretty good. We almost beat them at Rocky Mountain Open, and that last weekend they rested their good guys, so they know they have to be good next weekend.
And Brandon, just real quick, it makes a difference, right, with that crowd. You can you can feel
it's super electric. Love the energy.
Great. Hey, man, you crush it.
Thank you. Appreciate
Congratulations,
it.
man. Thanks, Coach.
Thank
You're
you
the
for
best,
having
man.
Thank you.
That's Mark Williams. We'll take a break. We'll put a wrap on the Huddle next, live from Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue.
Thank you to our cornerstone television partners, OU Health, OG&E, Fowler Auto Group, and Coca-Cola.
Our final segment is brought to you by Didier Ranch. Didier Ranch, tradition, tastes better. Also want to remind you, Sooner Sports Podcast has this show, so if you missed any of Mark Williams and KJ Kindler, you can get it by subscribing today at Soonersports.com/podcast. Stick around. We're talking hoops with Tyler Neal, Coach Jenny Baranchek, and Skylar Van coming up on Sooner Sports Talk. We are live from Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue. Thanks for hanging out with us, and don't go anywhere.
The OU Huddle has been brought to you by Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue, bringing you the best in real Texas barbecue. Walden Cleaners and Laundry, where the difference is quality. And by Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. The preceding has been a Learfield presentation on the Sooner Sports Network.